Hello and welcome to this series of instructional videos on AECOsim Building Designer V8i. And in this session, we'll be learning how to set up our architectural master model. We'll be looking at how to use references to attach the different floors that our BIM modelers have been creating inside our own practice. And we'll be going one step further because using the references capability in Building Designer, we'll be attaching different data from different disciplines in our project team. We'll also be going one step further than that because it's now time to start creating the initial construction drawings. And in Building Designer, we'll show you in this session how to go about that. But to start with, you'll notice that we have A_ground DGN open. This is a container for our master model to start with. And we're going to come in here, and first thing we're going to do is come to a primary toolbar here and click and open Models. The model dialog box opens and you can see we have one model, but we need to fill in the metadata here, change it a little bit, and you'll see why as we go forwards. So I'm going to come to this icon here, Edit Model Properties. The Model Properties dialog box opens, and I'm going to change this file to, I'm going to rename it to A_ground. When it comes to our description field, I'm going to rename this Floor Composite. And our ref logical floor, I'm going to actually name this one Floor. You'll see why in just a few seconds. Click the OK button and we can see the changes reflected. We can just close down our models dialog box because now we're going to be bringing in the ground floor that's going to form part of the master model. The most efficient way of doing that is come across your task space interface all the way to the left hand side to Project Explorer. You need to twirl down Building Models and then your Design Models and come down to A_ground EXT because we have so far modeled the external fabric of our structure, and that's the one we're going to be putting together. When we come to the internal one, we can just simply attach it the same way. We're going to drag and drop it into a view. Your attachment method should be coincident, and just click the OK button. And now we're going to open up the container for our master model. We're going to File, Open. We're going to open up the A Master Low-Rise Scheme. The A Master Low-Rise Scheme model opens up, and to this we are going to start constructing everything that we need for our BIM project accumulated together in one place. To do that, we use the most powerful tool in the industry today, and that's in our primary toolbar, second icon in References. The Attach Reference dialog box opens, and we're going to be using some of the unique power of Building Designer to help us and to be more efficient in our design work. Because we're going to attach multiple references at any one time. And to do that, we're going to press down our control button and we're going to select A_ground. After that, we're going to select Office 01, A Office, A Condo, and right at the bottom there, A Roof. And before we finish, we should actually check on our atrium, of course, which is A Entry Atrium. You can see the file names have filled all there in that field. We're just going to click Open. The first file opens. Our reference attachment settings is asking us what do you want to do, but you'll see here straight away the logical name and description is coming through from that metadata we already added. And in our logical name now, we're looking at condos. We're looking at our fourth floor for our condo. Come down here to nesting attachments. We're going to choose live nesting, and we're going to just choose the first depth. You can click OK. From that, our entry atrium comes in. You can see that it's been filled in. Our logical name is atrium. And we can just click OK. From that, our ground floor comes in. And we're going to just rename that -1, so it's floor -1, live nesting of 1. We're very efficiently. We're going to call A Office 3 and the A Office 01. That's going to be our second floor. And our roof, to finish it all off, the fifth floor. And there we have the master architectural model as it stands at this moment. All the external fabric is finished. Obviously, windows, doors, any other fire openings and things like that will have to be placed in. But now we can now reference in using the same power of Building Designer, our references, to reference in other discipline data. We're going to come to our Attach References button here. And in this grand scheme of things, we are going to select the structural engineers schemes as they stand at this moment because we're going to come in here and choose the S Master Low Rise Scheme. The attach reference dialog box opens again. There's just one minor change here. Your nested attachments, they're live, and our depth needs to be adjusted to 2. And now click OK. And now you can see our structural engineering data that designs the analysis of to this particular point has been attached to our design file. And now we can go forward to the next step of creating some construction drawings that include any and all parts of design data. And when our mechanical, our electrical, our fittings, schemes and plans and drawings are coming out, we can attach their models to this particular model to create a one conglomerate model for our building information project with Building Designer. So now that we've assembled our model together, let's go forward and create some of the construction drawings which are the bread and butter of the industry still today. To do that, we're going to come to our task-based interface here on the left and down to the Drawing Composition tab. In Drawing Composition tab, you'll need to come down to the 4th row and the last icon, Create Floor Plan View. Our Create Plan dialog box opens and we'll need the 3rd icon along called Floor Plan by Floor Set. Building Designer then goes off and harvests all of the necessary information that we brought into this file for us to use. And now it's been presented, we can choose a drawing seed file. In this case, we can choose Arch Floor Plan, but you can see you can include any other that are particular to your project or client. From that, you can see that we have a source to bring it from, in this case, Building Designer, but also any iModel compatible formats and applications that are out there. With that, we're going to twirl down building floors and our low-rise building. And this is where the power and the ease of Building Designer comes in, because we're going to create plans from floor 1, floor 2, and our condominium floor. And all we have to do now is say, next. Straight away, we're given a quick list of any of the elevations, of forwards and backwards cuts and everything like that that are going to be imbued upon to these plans. And now we can just say, go and create. The Create Drawing dialog box opens, and this is floor 4, the condo floor. So we're going to just highlight that and change that to read Condo Floor Plan. The Create Drawing model is checked. We need to also check the one below it, File Name. And from that, we're going to then click on this icon, Create New Drawing File. The Create Drawing Model Destination File dialog box opens. We're going to be actually saving this file in a separate location rather than binding it in with this model file. So it's therefore set in a place and time. And we're going to give it a name, a specific name. And that name is going to be LR, Low Rise Building, underbar, floor, underbar, 04. And now we're going to click Save. We're going to do the same when it comes down to the sheet model. That needs to be checked, and we need to have that one checked too. And what we're going to do here, just like we did with a drawing model, we're going to be saving out this to an external file, to its own particular file. So we need to click on Create New Sheet File. And in that one, we need to name that one Low Rise Underbar A1-04. With that, we click Save. And then click OK. Our next floor option opens up for creating a drawing. We're going to highlight that, and in this one we're going to call this Typical Office Floor. Below that, again, we're going to check on the file name, make sure the Create Drawing Model is checked. We're going to come out here, create a brand new drawing model, because in this case we're going to name this one not 04 but 02 and click Save. And again, under our sheet, we're going to click the Create New Sheet File, and in this one we're going to call this one number 2. Click Save. And with that, you can click OK. Building Designer then goes away and creates that particular plan view. In the last one of this session, our name is Floor 1, but what we need it to be is Ground Floor Plan. Again, we're going to save the drawing model out, and we're going to call this one Floor 1 and click Save. And again, down in our sheet section here, create a new sheet file, and we're going to come in here and say 1 and save that, and then click OK. Now that all of our sheets have been calculated and produced, all we need to do now is click Cancel on our Create Floor Plan floor selector. So now if we come up to our view control here and rotate our view, we can actually just pick here and come to our isometric view, and we can see these white markers. If we float a cursor over the second one, we can see here that we're able in this jump box to navigate between the sheet file and the 2D drawing file. So if we choose the drawing file and then click on the open target, we are now taken to the two-dimensional drawing plan of this particular floor. Once this is opened, we can now come to our Project Explorer, and if we open our building models and twirl down the design models, we can now navigate down to say S grid, highlight that and drag and drop it, and our attachment method should be coincident, and just click. And now we have our grid superimposed over our two-dimensional drawing. So in this way, we can work both in a two-dimensional world and in a three-dimensional building information world that we are attaining. So in that way, we're not leaving out any of our design team partners, no matter in which level of dimensions they are currently working in. So let's take a look at one of those sheet models that we created. So let's come back to our Project Explorer. Let's twirl up design models, and we'll come down here to sheets, and we'll just twirl down sheets here. And what we're going to do here is that we're going to double click on typical office floor. So almost instantaneously, you can see that we have cut our plan, placed it on a sheet at a suitable scale, and our grid and all the necessary information that we require is on there at this moment in time. In this case, we might need to move our plan to a more convenient location. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to right click over any part of our attached plan. We're going to come in here and say Move Reference. And with that, we're going to move our reference down here to the bottom right hand corner. And we can snap to any of the grid lines here on our sheet at the time. Let's zoom in here on the title of that plan, because it may not actually be to the actual project standards. And the way we can change that very easily is just come back up to your primary toolbar, click on Models, and in Models, highlight Typical Office Floor and go to the Edit Model Properties. Those properties open, and you can see in the sheet properties, the sheet name is Typical Office Floor. We're going to highlight that and replace that instead with proper nomenclature of A102. And we're going to click OK. And you can see straight away we have that reflected in the actual drawing title itself. If we now zoom back out of here, we can click and highlight this typical office floor, and you can see we have a series of handles. This is the dynamic range that's going to be included with the actual file should ever it be referenced ever again in someplace else. We can adjust the boundaries of just what we want to have referenced should that need to be. In this case, we're widening the scope of that to include the grid. Okay, right click to reset once again, and now what we can do is that we can zoom in here and we can come to this dialog box. This little pop-up comes up and we can say open our 3D. And with that, what we can do here is that we can come to our view rotate. We can now rotate that very quickly and very easily back to our isometric model so that we can start modeling and embellishing our building information one step further. And that's creating floor composites, floor plan drawing sheets, and hypermodeling in AECOsim Building Designer V8i. Thank you very much.